Now, as far as for those who don't know, what are you currently suing Kevin Hart for? Because I was able to kind of catch the headlines that came out. They saying like you coming after 12 million. It's like, okay, what is going on? Like for those that don't know.
Well, I mean, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, he should be lucky that I am asking only for 12 million. But at the same time, people need to understand that Kevin is surrounded by this narrative as if he was pretty much extorted or a crime was committed against him, and everything that has been in his favor up until just up until when I was prosecuted and arrested, and even up until now, he has the world thinking that he was extorted. Okay. My lawyers, which you met, Jacob Glucksman, back in November in 2020, you heard his story. That pretty much was what was happening. I mean, nobody ever contacted Kevin Hart. Nobody extorted Kevin Hart. And I'm suing him for defamation. I'm suing him for malicious prosecution, which the malicious prosecution only just came about this year because of what we found out, which was the fabricated email that he, and I don't even have to say allegedly, that he sent to the DA, district attorney's office. He did. Okay. So that malicious prosecution claim just came out this year for us. That's why we added it and amended the complaint in August. I think it was on August 6th, 2024. So then I'm suing him for breach of contract, suing him for IIED, which is it's called emotional distress, something about emotional distress. I know it's IIED, and fraudulent inducement. Fraudulent inducement stems from it stems from him sending in the fabricated email to the DA's office.
Yeah. So Jay, I want to make sure we kind of storyline this as well, just for the viewers that are tapping back into the story, as well as the new ones that are just hearing about it. So there was a situation that we all very much aware of. Kevin Hart, he ends up being caught on camera. We say from our reception, he was caught on camera engaging in a sexual act with a woman.
Yeah.
And then the aftermath would be that it would turn out that it would be spent to an extortion case where maybe the woman set up the camera, who knows who did it, and then all of a sudden it falls on you as the guy behind this equation, who allegedly sent him an email, they said, and then now we're finding out that this email was actually created by Kevin Hart.
100% accurate on pretty much what you said. I mean, you can't refute science. I mean, you have a forensics analyst who listened to all of the interviews that were between Kevin Hart's people, which is his people, meaning his legal representatives, and his the DA's office, which that's another part of my lawsuit, and a totally different lawsuit where I'm suing them individually for their part in this case. But I mean, he has no argument and no excuse on why he sent the DA fabricated email with the email that you're talking about. I was arrested for that.
And I have access to some of the court documents and filings, and there was a declaration of Michael R. Vandermeer.
Yes.
In support of you.
Yes.
Who is that real quick? And then I want to read a part of this.
Okay.
Document.
Well, Michael Vandermeer, a fantastic, his resume is about as long as California. So he's a forensics data analyst. He's an expert. Okay. So we hired him, I want to say around August 14th, 2024. Okay. Which is recent. So, I was always suspicious about the email, back in when I first filed my Section 1983 complaint against the DA's office, with the individuals in the DA's office that, Los Angeles County DA's office. But, that's when I realized that something was odd about the email that I was arrested for. It was just something weird about it, but I couldn't pinpoint it right then and there, but I knew it was something wrong with it. So I filed the case against the DA's office then.
Story was that you sent the email was what you were being alleged for, right?
100%. 100%.
And the email was, I think, talking about some tapes or alleging that they had tapes on Kevin and that they wanted money out of him.
And to be honest, listen, the forensics evidence says that, well, Kevin admitted that he was the first to receive the email. So that's why we can say that Kevin, now I ain't going to have to say alleged, but Kevin is the one who fabricated the email because he was the first to receive it. You understand? It's all in the report. But, but the language in it is crazy. I mean, if you're going to fabricate an email, why put that? You shouldn't put that type of language in there. I think it has something to do with molestation, has something to do with, it was molestation. And I forgot what the other one was. But it was just as bad, but for them to say that I sent that and then never bring it up in none of the court cases, they never even brought it up. They didn't even bring you. And I know why they didn't bring it up, because they didn't bring it up because the words molestation was in it. You understand? They never brought it up in none of the proceedings during the criminal case. They didn't even insert it in there at all. So I was arrested for this email that never was presented in none of the proceedings in the criminal case whatsoever.
Gotcha. How did he even pull that off to make it seem like it came from you?
Well, that's the thing. They had no evidence. I don't know if you have the brief or whatever. It's funny.
I was gonna.
Oh, okay. Well, just to say, just know they had no evidence tying me to it. All you gotta do is read her testimony. She said that the DA investigator who was now being sued by me, she literally said under oath in testimony on November 12th, 2020. I'm sorry, November 12th, 2019. She literally said, "I assumed it was your client," when she was answering Jacob in cross-examination. She said, "I assumed." Like, you didn't even have proof, no evidence. My lawyer just tore her a new asshole with that shit. Like, you can't be out there talking about you assume that somebody did that. That's why I was arrested. So the answer to your question, there was no evidence.
Right. Mm-hmm. Now, Jay, when I look at this report, it says the report identifies the forensic methodology I used, the evidence I reviewed, and my conclusion. Based on my comprehensive forensic analysis of the 4/27/18 email PDF document, which was presented as an extortion email allegedly received by Mr. Hart on April 27, 2018, and my review of the May 22nd, 2019 interview and the testimony presented in the November 12, 2019 preliminary hearing, it is my professional opinion that the document labeled 4/27/18 email is neither original email nor an authentic forwarded email for the following reasons. It's not an original piece of evidence, and there was no apparent effort made by the district attorney's office to properly preserve the original digital source. There is no chain of custody documentation that tracks and details how it was received by Mr. Hart, forwarded to his attorney, and ultimately delivered in its current PDF form to the district attorney's office. There is no evidence within the content that it was ever forwarded, as it is missing text and fields that are expected in a forwarded email, thus contradicting the statements made by Mr. Hart, his legal counsel, and the district attorney's office representatives in the May 22nd, 2019 interview attempted to authenticate it. It is missing metadata, including the hidden messages or the hidden message headers that could be used to validate its authenticity. The metadata is not consistent with its originating as an email to Mr. Hart. In fact, it reveals that the document was created in Microsoft Word 1 year after the alleged date of the email. Now, I'll stop right there.
Yeah, man.